Hello, you guys. Welcome back. This is part 2 of how to communicate with your spirit guides. Now, last week I posted part 1, and the reason why we stagger between 1 week and 2 weeks is because the first video, 15 minutes long, is a lot of information. I didn't want to overwhelm you guys. So if you're new here, I'm Yasmine from The Door to Value on all social media platforms, psychic medium, channeler, healing catalyst, energy intuitive. And I encourage you, if you have not seen the first video, part 1, please do. It is the foundation for what I mentioned with regards to this topic. Now, School of the Ascending is a online digital school. We have an e-course online. If you're interested, there's a link in the School of the Ascending bio on Instagram. That's the main platform where you can find the school with infographics, videos, lives, things like that. The main purpose of School of the Ascending is to help you elevate, evolve, and empower into the greatest version of yourself. The core principle is being evolving your wounds into wisdom so that you feel empowered through your healing and you elevate into freedom. Now, in part 2, I want to continue the conversation about how to communicate with your guides. So if you have any questions, if part 1 resonates, if part 2 resonates, save and share with your network as you feel guided, and do let me know in the comments how this resonated for you. And please let me know if you have any other Q&A, like questions that you want to ask, because I would be more than happy to answer that. This is the purpose of this. You know, if we have questions, if you have a question, it's a question that you have, but also other people have as well. So the question's coming through for you, but other people have that question as well. So this is important for us to share and collectively grow together. So I ended part 1 with sharing the importance of receptivity, being receptive to receiving, the guidance and communication from your guides. Now, we are not worshiping our spirit guides, okay? We are not, bowing down to them. We are not, we can express gratitude for their presence in our life and their assistance in our life, but we don't worship our spirit guides. Our spirit guides, as I mentioned in part 1, just to recap, are passed on loved ones, not all of them, and might not be one of them even for some of you, but some people have a passed on loved one, at least one that's around them. Not everyone, but some people do. Sometimes the passed on person, just like 222 on the clock, might not even be someone that was in your family or your generational tree. Could be someone else completely different who was assigned to you based on a similar mission that they have on the other side, or there might be something that they might be able to assist. They might have a spiritual karma that they need to resolve, so they had to go through a series of tests before being assigned to you, like a training. There's more than one reason as to why maybe someone who wasn't in your family but was once previously human on the earth could be one of your spirit guides. And then we have celestial beings, extraterrestrials, beings like Pleiadians, Arcturians, Sirians, and then of course every single life, plant, animal, human, has an angelic being surrounding it. And we have to remember that angelic beings hold a frequency of a higher dimension beyond the 5th dimension, beyond the 8th dimension. Honestly, angelic beings of unconditional love and light are up to the 18th dimension, which a lot of spiritual teachers don't talk about, the fact that there's more than 18 dimensions, but 18 is kind of like that. I would say the warm cutoff for sort of the dimension of heaven, we say, right? Which a lot of people are like, it's not a place, it doesn't exist, it's a dimension, and it goes beyond 12. And angelic beings carry the power to be able to go to more than one place at a time. All the prophets can do this. Jesus Christ, Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, Moses, Abraham, all of them are able to go to more than one place at a time. There are also spirit guides as well, if you think about it or not. But take that as it resonates for you. Some people do have them as guides, but it really depends on what you're feeling connected with and what presence is making itself known over and over through synchronicity and reminders in your everyday life, but also in connection to what you believe in as well. That's a huge piece to this. So we've got a whole team around us, and they're not always stalking. They're not stalking us. It's not creepy. It's nothing like that, because they understand us and they know when we need space and time. Like I can definitely feel my guides around me right now, because I'm channeling. I'm creating a video. This is part of the mission work, to express and share what I know and what I'm being guided to share around communicating with our guides. So the first aspect is to be receptive, to communicating, to really receiving guidance. Actually, I would say is being receptive to receiving the guidance from your guides, because the fact of the matter is our guides are really here to help support the journey that we're on and to help us fulfill our lessons successfully, fulfill our missions. Now, when we take it sort of a step further than that, we have to kind of look a little bit deeper into the availability of these messages, because sometimes people might get looped into communicating with guides that are not of the light. And I don't even want to attribute the word guides to those beings, because they are not guides. They're beings that will falsely claim the label of being a guide for a human on earth, but really they're not of unconditional love and light. And that does happen actually a lot. It happens to everyone. It happens to light workers. It's happened to me. And it's happened to me quite a few times where, not in the middle of channeling, but where I've looked into my guides off camera for where are you guys? Like, hello, and we need to remember that all spirit guides, every being that takes the role of being a spirit guide for us, for life on earth, they are in service to the creator, to the divine source creator, to the omnipotence of creation. And that can be very hard to grasp for some of you guys. I think that they're just like in service to you individually, but it's really not like that. They're in service to a greater, larger picture. And we have to remember that, because they're not beings we need to be worshiping. We can express gratitude and thank them and channel through them, channel to them, to receive information, channel to the collective if that's something that you do, but we don't worship our guides. Our guides are just here to assist us. It's kind of like having a brother or a sister or a parent, that you're actually close with. Even if you don't have that in real life, it's like that. And so, but they don't support codependency. They're not super overly emotional. There's nothing like that, because they have to look at things from the highest point of view for what's best for you. And sometimes you might not feel in that moment that something is what's best for you. You might be going through a difficult time, and the fact of the matter is that they are helping to assist with that process from the highest point of view. Non-attachment, non-emotional, knowing what's best for you based on what they see. And guides are ascended masters. Essentially, majority of them are ascended masters. There are celestial beings, astral beings that are very much farther in advance in their journey to be able to be assigned to this, because it is very challenging to be a guide. It's not for the ease of being. Like, they have to be advanced in a way to be able to be assigned to an earth being, like a human, essentially. So once you're receptive to receiving communication, and you kind of like try to allow yourself to remember the difference between God, divine source creator, and your guides, and knowing that your guides are not beings that you sort of worship or bow down to. They're really beings that you're grateful for being here to assist you on your journey. We need to, it's not necessarily creating that separation, but we need to know the difference, I would say, of both of those, because there is a difference. And your guides, because my guides are emphasizing this, I'm not sure why, they're just really emphasizing that message. So, but discernment is huge, because you want to make sure, like with anything in life, that you're not receiving falsified information. And so my encouragement to you is that it does become trial and error, like everything in life. Sometimes you have to go through moments of falling down, some failures or mistakes, as we say, to be able to pick yourself back up and learn what you need to. And so with that being said, that is really encouragement to remember that, like, even if you come across situations where you're kind of like getting misguided in a way, it's not something that we strive for at all. And that's not what I'm saying that anyone needs to seek out, but don't be hard on yourself, because I was very hard on myself. I wasn't sure if this particular being was of the light or not, because I was being deceived, for example, and it wasn't through my channelings, it was in real life, like a guide that is with me on my waking life, not when I'm channeling to the collective. And it's very interesting because they were blocked. What I noticed was that they were blocked whenever it came to me channeling my videos. And as you guys notice, I just burped, which is releasing toxic energy. It's throat chakra energy. So whenever I would speak on my videos channeling, I wasn't feeling this being's presence, but I was only noticing them in my 3D world as a guide with my lessons. And I started to have a lot of doubt, and I realized that they were not, it took me months, you guys. And I realized, I was like, this is not a guide. This is not of the light. This guide is not of the light. And it was actually a person that was had an entity attachment that lived in my building. And it's a whole story. So if you guys are interested in that story, I'll share that with you. But I don't actually know the names of all of my guides except for one in particular, Archangel Sandalphon. So remember when I said that we all have angelic guides around us. So Archangel Sandalphon made himself, they don't have gender, but we're going to attach this for the purposes of this video, very, very known to me on New Year's Eve. And it was very interesting because this was the start of something for me, New Year's Eve 2021, where I realized that, I'm hearing 2022, so it could have been last year, but where I realized this kind of this sort of synchronicity between what I was doing in my waking life and the puzzle pieces that were making itself connected to my realization of who this guide was. I had made this large painting with the colors that is associated with this angel. And then I found out that this angel is associated with my birth horoscope, Pisces. So you will discover your guides. They make themselves known when they're really made to make themselves known. Like when they are needed to make themselves known for you, when it's the time, essentially the divine timing, they will make themselves known. And they might not always make themselves known to people, honestly. And sometimes it's because you don't need to know, other than knowing who is your protection. For some of you guys, I'm just getting this message right now, could be your mom who passed on, who's a spirit guide. I'm getting grandmother as well, grandfather. I'm specifically seeing someone who's watching this video, passed on loved ones, has a mom who passed away from cancer. I might have to message that friend because it's coming through, but yeah, we do have, passed on loved ones that are also there. At that point, they have the highest, sort of not necessarily ascended master energy, but the highest vantage point of how to assist us on our journey from a very non-emotional, non-attached way to the life that they had in their connection with us on the earth, if they are your passed on family members. Okay. So that's important to make notice of. We need to discern the beings that are not of the light, and that comes with knowing and recognizing, what's not resonating with you. Is it sitting in your heart? When you tap into your gut, you go within, which is, we don't need our guides to do that. We can do that on ourselves. The guides are just like a backup. It's not a reliance for codependency. It's a backup measure. And it's only if sometimes, I don't even go to my guides they're just there when I channel, so it's nothing like going to them for answers. It's kind of like you got to go within, and that's their purpose, is to teach you that, to teach all of us to go within. So when you go within, when you try to listen to your gut, you try to listen to your heart, and you notice that the information you're receiving about your life, even when you've prayed, even when you've done all these things, is not really sitting right with you, keep praying, keep, meditating, whatever your method of faith-based practice is for you. But remember that if the information isn't sitting right, there's a discernment level that needs to happen there. And if it's really, maybe your ego is getting in the way and you're not listening to the information, that's why it doesn't feel like it's sitting right, your guides will make that very clear to you. And that's when you'll know the difference. So like anything in life, you want to discern, like between gossip, if it's real or if it's not. It's the same thing with trusting your gut, listening to your gut, keep inquiring. And sometimes inquiring on information requires a level of patience, which is a lesson that we all have to learn. And that sort of prompts us to step into the energy force of, basically connection, to receive the communication from them, the guidance from them. So be open to receiving, be open to, basically the abundance, the blessings, the gifts, the messages, the signs and synchronicities from God's creation, from this creation on the earth. Everything is mathematical. Everything connects like a spider web, as I always say. But then also be willing to recognize that, they'll make themselves known when the time is right. You want to make sure that you discern all information anyway, no matter what you receive. Discern, discern, discern. Always make sure that you discern. Doesn't matter if you feel that it's coming from your guides or not, always make sure that you discern. You got to check in with yourself, and that's what they want you to do. Your guides always want, the beings of unconditional love and light, 5D and above, always want you to check in with yourself first. After you've received the information, you got to check in. That's the point of this whole thing, is to go within and trust what we are feeling, because we are alchemizing the self-mastery of our own lives. Couple seconds left here, guys. That's all I have to share for now. Communication comes naturally. Everyone will receive it differently through gifts of clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, but also through signs and synchronicities in your everyday 3D life. The power of creation. The answers will make themselves known to you. It's pretty much as easy as that, but you have to be open to receiving, and then divine timing has a factor into the communication as well. Let me know if it resonates. I send you all so much love and light.